Everyone, this is California Conventions Blog. This is Jeriko, your Southern California convention correspondent. I have with me here today Mr. Richard Epcar.
Hi.
So to start off, how is your Anime Los Angeles so far?
So far, so good. It's been great. This is one of our favorite, I'm here with my wife, Ellen Stern. This is one of our favorite conventions that we go to. We've been coming to this one for a long time, actually, a long time. I can't remember how many we've been to, but this is definitely, a bunch of them. And this has been wonderful. We've had to, as you know, with COVID, they've had to cancel twice on us. So the third time's the charm. We're here on, the third time, and hopefully everything will go well and everyone will be safe. Everyone stays masked up and vaccinated. Hopefully get through this garbaggio and get it over.
Fully agreed, sir.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
That indeed. Still, welcome back to ALA.
Thank you. Welcome back to ALA. You sound like an alcoholic, for God's sake.
So I do have a couple of questions for you.
Yeah.
So your voice acting credits range from anime titles from the 80s and the 90s.
Yes.
Help to contribute to the popularity of anime today.
Yes. I'm responsible for all of that. I did all of that.
How did you arrive to voicing anime when the medium was so niche in the West back then?
Well, we're actors, and I started out. Actually, my wife got me into this crazy business. She was doing a film, and they had some actors. They weren't that crazy about their voices, so they wanted to replace their voices. So she said, "Can I bring my boyfriend to an audition?" And that was me. And the guy said, "Have you done this before?" I said, "Yeah, I've done it a million times. I never did it before in my life." But I'm a drummer also, and there's a real rhythm to particularly dubbing. So I really took to it, and we did a bunch of jobs for them. And then from that, we both got into Robotech. And from Robotech, I just started booking stuff right and left, and never looked back. And it's just been tons and tons and tons of stuff. And one of my bigger ones was Ghost in the Shell, playing Bateau, and we did Digimon. I was Myotismon and Edamon and that, and just hundreds and hundreds of characters and titles, and never stopped. Thank God. I hope this is wood. I'm knocking on wood. But it's been a nice ride. And then from that, we went into to video games, and I've done a lot of that, and original animation, which is really fun to do that, because then you don't have to worry about the lip flaps. You can just be your character, and that's always a little more fun in a way. You don't have to worry about the sync or anything.
Oh yeah. Talking about Ghost in the Shell, in the years since its franchise is released to the West, you've been the voice of Bateau. Mm-hmm. How has the role changed over the years for you?
It really hasn't. He's one of those characters that's like putting on a very comfortable coat, that is very well worn and feels really good. And whenever I go to play him, it's just like second skin to me. So he's very much like me in many ways, and I'm very much like him in certain ways. And so it's a good fit, and he is just a real easy character to jump back into. Yeah.
Sans the cyborg guys, of course, right?
Yeah, yes, of course. That's one thing we have not in common, thankfully.
So, would you describe Ghost in the Shell as more of a sci-fi or a detective show? I have looked into your credits. You were in Matlock and Columbo.
Yes, I was.
So, I was wondering, what do you think Ghost in the Shell is?
Well, I think it's a sci-fi detective show. How about that?
Oh yeah, mix of both.
They're cops, and it's in the future, and there's a lot of high-tech stuff that happens. And honestly, though, a lot of the stuff that they talked about that's going to be way in the future is already happening. So it's not so way in the future now, and it's kind of a little scary. And I think the takeaway from Ghost in the Shell is the use of technology, the moral use of technology. And I think that that was their big point of that whole show, that technology is a wonderful thing, but it can also be misused, and it depends on who is using the technology. And that technology can be very, very dangerous if it's in the wrong hands. So I think that's, to me, it's almost a cautionary tale in a way,
Which is interesting given the character he portrayed, Bato. He is an agent of the state,
Yes.
and yet he still uses those. He still uses the technology for the benefit of, was it justice, or is it more for the sake of the state? So I think those are really hard issues that we need to grapple today as we go forward and as technology marches on. So I think.
Well, I think Section 9 was a good group of agents and cops, and I think that they at their core were good and were trying to do the right thing.
Right.
And I think they use technology to benefit them. But I think that there's a lot of criminals and people like that were using the technology for other reasons,
Right.
But I think they at their core are good. I think Section 9 is good at its core.
Now, talk about criminals. You've
Yes.
also had the mainstay role as Jigen from Lupin the Third.
Yes.
Has Jigen changed over the years?
No. Jigen is very stuck in his ways. He's a great character. He's another one of those comfortable characters that, like an old coat that I can just put on and jump into. We've been doing that for, 20-some years now, and I directed the first Lupin the Third, the Red Jacket series, and I cast the cast, which is now considered the official cast. And my wife Ellen Stern and I just co-directed the first part 1, Lupin the Third, which is going to come out next year. And I'm working on part 6 right now as Jigen. And Lupin the Third, the CGI movie, I played Jigen in that, and I wrote the adaptation for that film, which was released in theaters. And that's a wonderful. I thought they really did a great job on the CGI. The characters look phenomenal, and I love it so much, and I think they did a great job. So yeah, he's a great character. I love him. I wrote a lot of the scripts for part 1, and we just it was funny when I did the original Red Jacket series a long time ago. I thought, this is such a great show. I hope I get to do more of these. Well, be careful what you wish for. Now there's so much Lupin stuff. It's insane. We've done tons of movies. We've done tons of series. Ellen and I co-directed part 4, and I directed part 5. And there's a lot more stuff coming down the pike. So, in a lot of these movies, we've done a lot of the different movies that Discotheque Media has released. And so, it's been ongoing, and it's been wonderful, and we really, really love these characters and love being part of this franchise.
Now, when you voice Jigen, do you wear a fedora and roll a revolver around?
Always, yeah. Well, that's how I usually go to bed.
Straight from the source, folks.
Yes. I wear a fedora and I have a revolver.
All right.
My wife knows never to wake me up suddenly.
So you're the voice of Joker and Raiden from Mortal Kombat 11,
yes.
and the voice of Akuma in Street Fighter 5.
Yes.
So,
who would win?
What's your pick?
Seriously, who would win out of all those?
Yeah.
In my humble opinion, I think Raiden would be the winner of that. He would come out victorious.
I think the eventual winner would be you, because you still come out on top irregardless.
That's true. I get to fight myself,
I
which I do all the time.
So, Kingdom Hearts fans know you as the voice behind Ansem, the primary antagonist for most of the series.
Yes.
Would you consider him a traditional Disney villain or something else entirely?
Oh, I think he's something else entirely. I think that it's very different than most Disney stuff, and I think it's kind of like they took a big chunk of anime and they merged it with all these Disney characters, and it's just kind of an interesting commingling, as it were.
Right.
But it's that to me was such a wonderful franchise to work on as well, because first of all, there's every star in Hollywood is in that show. It's just incredible. The people that are in there, Johnny Depp, Angela Lansbury. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. All the huge stars that are in that show, and me as the villain. So it's really kind of fun, and I've done 8 of them so far. And as we all know, I don't want to do a spoiler alert, but kind of gone away in the last one. But hopefully he'll come back in flashbacks or whatever. But I'm still Terra Xehanort, so he's still around. So he'll come back and play with everybody.
Oh, I mean, Handsome always comes back in some way or form.
Exactly.
So,
He'll come back in another form.
I'm
of
more
course.
than happy to hear you again.
Are you listening, Square Enix? He's going to come back in another form.
Please?
Yes, please.
All right, so next question. Joseph Joestar had the honor of starring in three parts of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yes.
What?
Not enough as far as I'm concerned.
So what parts of Ben Diskint's performance as young Joseph carried over to your performance as old Joseph?
I honestly don't know because I never saw the part with Ben. But it's funny. He always is me. He's younger me in Kingdom Hearts. He's younger me in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and it's like every time they need a younger me, they get him for some reason. So I don't know. Maybe we're related somehow. But it always seems to work out that way. But that's been a great show. I loved working on that show. The character was phenomenal, and. The only thing that saddens me is they, unlike any other anime, like Lupin, we're celebrating 50th anniversary of Lupin, and Jigen hasn't aged one bit. But with Joseph Joestar, every series they go 30 years into the future, and now he's dead. So it's like I wish they had continued him along the lines of Lupin because he's such a great character, and I was really sorry to see him go away because the last series that I played him, he was kind of an old doddering fool at that point, and it was kind of sad to see him like that. It's kind of like seeing Superman as an old doddering fool. Nobody wants to see that.